Junwoo, who lives with his parents and sister in an apartment complex, spends his days video game live streaming. While his family is out, the news reports that a mysterious rapidly spreading disease is causing its victims to attack and eat uninfected people, and the government has lost control. From his balcony, Junwoo sees his neighbors fleeing or attacking one another. He goes to check the hallway, but a neighbor barges in and succumbs to infection. Junwoo barely manages to push him out and lock the door. He then receives messages from his parents telling him that they are safe. Junwoo barricades himself inside and posts a rescue request on social media. No help comes. Within days, the neighborhood is overrun with infected. Though the emergency power stays on, Junwoo gradually loses access to running water, internet service, and phone networks. He watches a policewoman attempt to escape the complex, but she is overwhelmed and infected. An infected man breaks into his apartment, but Junwoo manages to bait it into falling off his balcony. When his food and water runs low, he begins drinking from his father's liquor cabinet. As he hallucinates about his family, his phone network is restored momentarily, and he receives a voicemail from his family recording their last moments. Driven by grief, he prepares to hang himself, but stops when he is flashed by a laser pointer's beam from Yubin, another survivor living in the apartment opposite of his balcony. They begin signaling to each other daily. Seeing that Junwoo is hungry, Yubin connects their apartments with a homemade zipline and sends him food. An infected man manipulates the zipline, causing Yubin's table to fly and knock her out. The infected man climbs up the string to her apartment, but Junwoo distracts it with his flying drone long enough for Yubin to wake up and kill it. Junwoo decides to search for supplies, finding food, clothing, and walkie-talkies in his neighbor's unit. He sends a walkie-talkie to Yubin, and the two begin to bond. The infected hordes become agitated, and Yubin knocks over some furniture while trying to hide. The sound causes a group to converge on her apartment, and Junwoo distracts them by calling an adjacent unit's landline. Realizing that they will die if they stay put, the pair rappel from their balconies, recover the policewoman's revolver, and fight their way to the 8th floor of Junwoo's apartment together, determining that the floor is safe. The horde finds them, but a stranger emerges from his apartment and saves the pair. In the stranger's home, the pair accepts his food, which has been drugged. The stranger cuffs the inebriated pair, then tries to feed Yubin to his infected wife. Yubin is able to wrap a bag over the infected wife's head, then releases the zombie upon her husband. She shoots them both with the revolver, but the gunshots attract the infected. Yubin asks Junwoo to mercy kill her. However, Junwoo hears helicopters outside. The pair fight their way to the rooftop, chased by the infected. Just as they are about to be overwhelmed, an army helicopter shoots the horde down and the pair are flown off to safety. A voiceover by an anchorman explains that wireless networks are being restored and the military has begun rescuing survivors who made social media posts.
Her body has been taken over by cordyceps, a parasitic fungus. It floods her brain with chemicals, drugging her, compelling her to head where conditions are perfect. Just the right amount of light, just the right amount of humidity for the parasite growing inside. It forces her to clamp down in a death bite, and cordyceps reveals its gruesome nature. After 3 weeks of growth, cordyceps can release its own spores, infecting more ants, releasing more spores, infecting more ants.